welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor, and this is Boris. And he's very serious about this episode. Very serious. Bobes, cheer up. It's going to be okay. Okay, you have to, if you're not watching the video, you need to go on YouTube and watch the video just so you can see his face. Today I am caulking the counter in my kitchen, and that's going to make me feel rewarded afterwards. So I'm looking forward to what that feels like. And yeah, I'm gonna try to relax today. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl, and my niece is coming over and her friend. And if you lifetime listeners recall, last year she came over and she performed the halftime show in front of me since I couldn't watch it on TV. And it was hilarious and very enjoyable. So her and her friends said they're going to perform it for me again. But Kendrick Lamar is not exactly a performer the way Usher is. So we'll see what happens. Today I wanted to talk about the struggle between what I know is good for me and what my fears and I don't want to say compulsions. The word compulsion I only connect to drinking. But what I know is good for me, and then those unhealthy dependencies. So I talked about unhealthy dependencies yesterday, but I talked to my sponsor this morning because that's what I do on Saturday mornings. And my dishwasher is playing its happy song because it's over. So sorry. I talked to my sponsor this morning, and I'm trying to communicate that something is wrong with me between my ears, and I don't really know how to articulate it. So I just continue to try because I know that that is what is good for me. My tendency or my unhealthy, like, automatic reaction is to not talk about it, to hold it in because I don't know how to explain what's wrong. So I was telling her, like, it feels very dramatic for me to tell you what's wrong, but the best way I can say it is that I'm obsessed with death. Like, that is what I can't get out of my head. I can't stop thinking about bad things. And so that's what I'm going to be talking to my psychiatrist about. Um, I, there's a lot of obviously bad stuff going on all the time. But it seems like whenever something happens, like my neighbor passed away, or the airplane crashed at National Airport. Oops, sorry, I hit the computer. I get into this like pit of sadness. I can't, like, I think about these families that were impacted by all of these things. Okay. So, like my neighbor, I think about her. I think about her lifetime of raising kids and being married and getting older and what are the things she loved. And, there was a time then she was happy and healthy, and then she got really sick, and then she died. And I think about her kids and how they have so many memories of this woman being a mom and being comforting and loving and somebody that they could depend on and somebody they look up to and somebody they needed. And then she died. And then I think of, the Loud Times Mirror came out with a feature on the folks from Loudoun County that were on the plane that crashed recently. And I didn't read the whole thing because it was long and my head can't do that. But I kind of bounced around to look at the pictures and the description under the pictures. And I was looking at these little girls and the way that they were standing, it's like, so these girls went to the ice, what was it called? The ice, I don't know, the skating rink in Ashburn, which was in my local area. And so it looks like having their picture taken together, two sisters, and they were looking very much like they had just been skating or they were getting ready to skate. And the look on their faces and the happiness and the just excitement, like it reminded me of my own daughter at that age and how just full of life. And now they died. And I can't wrap my head around it. Like I can't accept that. So I this all happened after I had my stroke, that I have been having this obsession that I can't get away from. So I even started to listen to the Bible. I'm like, okay, if I can't accept this, then maybe I can pour my energy into learning more about the Bible and learning more about um, the purpose of our lives, and maybe I need to create my understanding of what happens after death. So that's what I've started to do. It's slow going because it's something I gotta think about. It's not like reading a book. It's not like listening to any other book on Audible. Like I can only listen to a little section and then I need to digest it. And then in parallel, I'm listening to a Bible study that talks about each section that I'm listening to. So, um, I feel like that's a really healthy way to channel my energy. I know that calling my psychiatrist was the right thing to do. Of course, I keep thinking, what am I going to tell her? And I think that I'm getting that train of thought that I had the last time I went to the psychiatrist, which is, what is she going to tell me about myself that I don't already know? Um, but I remember what she was very helpful, or else I wouldn't have called her um, to schedule an appointment. She helps me to align my behavior and my unconscious thoughts with my values and my goals, and gives me a focus and helps me with my purpose. Because right now I feel like I'm really aimlessly wandering, mentally, I think. Um, and I think I talked about this yesterday because I talked about it at dinner with my friend, how being concerned that I'm so busy all the time and I have all these tools to help with my mental state, my spiritual state, my emotional state, that am I distracting myself from sitting in the stuff that doesn't feel good? And I feel like if I think that that might be happening, it probably is. And what my psychiatrist told me last time is that I need to time box uh, um, those sad feelings. So find a spot in the house and sit down and just allow myself to be sad or be worried or be scared or be angry, and just time box it in like a 10-minute period of time. Then when the alarm goes off, when that 10 minutes is over, stand up from the spot that I have designated for that time period to feel and go do something that is enjoyable to me, something that makes me happy. So I think I forgot about that suggestion of hers until right now. And that's why talking about it is helpful because I can talk through some of the solutions that are in my toolbox that kind of have fallen to the bottom of the toolbox and I need to pull them back out. So the solution I know for me is to stay connected, keep doing my podcast. Today again, I was thinking maybe I'll just take a day off from the podcast. And to you, my listeners, that might be like, yeah, you should probably just take a break. You're doing this every day. But the thing is that my recovery doesn't take a break. And that's what I was telling my sponsor this morning. I think that's what I've been feeling. I don't know if I've said it out loud yet or not, but I'm tired of being in recovery. Um, and I think that that's okay and that's normal for me to be tired of it. I woke up with a headache. I'm tired of, you know what it reminds me of when I was driving home during my first year of sobriety, and I've shared about this on this podcast before. I was driving home in early sobriety, and I was thinking, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of sobriety. Like, I'm tired of working so hard. And that's what I feel like right now. What I knew at that time was I needed to pick up the phone and call somebody, and that's what I did. That was the time that I called like five people and nobody answered. But just the action of picking up the phone and calling people, even though they didn't answer, it distracted me from driving by a gas station where I could have considered drinking, going to get a box of wine or a bottle of wine or something like that. So it did its job. And so I just keep going through the motions, you know? That's what I feel like. I'm in a sort of funk. And if you guys remember who are lifetime listeners, it was like every other month that I would go through a funk. I would feel really inspired for a month, and then I would go into this funk where I was feeling like I was struggling, like I was going through the motions and I wasn't actually getting anywhere. Like I was Fred Flintstone trying to run and I wasn't getting anywhere. And that's what I feel like again. And what I have to make sure happens during this time that I feel like Fred Flintstone and I'm moving my feet, but I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? When he's in his car and he's getting ready to drive really fast, his feet go really fast and the car stays still. And then all of a sudden it takes off. That's what I feel like. And that's what recovery feels like sometimes. And it tends to come in months, like 30-day periods. But I need to make sure during this time that I'm running in place that my habits don't slip. Because if I tend to feel like I'm moving my feet and I'm not going anywhere, I can get to the point where I'm like, well, why am I even moving my feet? And then as soon as I stop moving my feet, that's when old thinking and self-destructive kind of isolating behavior happens. And then it feeds that desire to not move my feet, and that is the depression feeding on itself. And that's the progression of my unhealthy thinking. So I think that I need to just keep moving my feet, you know? Keep having this daily commitment. It's hard, people. It's hard. And I wanted part of the importance of this podcast and recording every day is that there are days like this. And sometimes there are weeks, sometimes there are months like this. And I have to keep talking through it because I want to be a real life example of how maybe not every day I have some sort of inspiring thing. Sometimes I'm just trying to put one foot in front of the other. And today seems like one of those days. This week seems like one of those weeks. So we're just going to keep moving forward. That's what we do. We're just going to keep moving forward. We just keep walking forward. So thanks for listening because I don't know, that helped me. I'm just going to keep moving forward today. So thanks for listening. Thanks for showing up for yourself and for me. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.